fractions to decimals, but what about percents? Percent, decimals, 2%, means move the decimal to the right twice. And you discovered this with me in class. We found the pattern and we understand that because percent means out of 100, 1, this means 1, and cent means 100. So this is, what is it out of 100? And so if we multiply this by 100, it's the same as moving the decimal to the right twice. So 350%. This is greater than 1 whole. My percent needs to be greater than 100%, which represents the whole thing. To the right twice gives me 90%. To the right twice, 70%. To the right twice gives me 0.4%. What if I have percents and I want them back as decimals? I move them back, which means I divide by 100. So I move the decimal to the left twice. 1, 2, 17 thousandths. Where is the decimal? Oh, I remember. There is a decimal at the end of every whole number. Here it is. And we're going to move it to the left twice. So 3 is my decimal. This is greater than 100%. That means this should be greater than 1. Here's the decimal at the end of every whole number. 0.5 is my decimal. Well, what if I have a decimal and I need it all the way back to a fraction? Read it, write it, simplify it. It is imperative that you remember how to read place value charts. So if this were on my place value chart, the last digit used is hundredths. That's the word that I say, 37 hundredths. Read it, write it, simplify it. This is simplified. 4 and 7 tenths. 4 and 7 tenths. I read it, I wrote it, it's already simplified. 1 and 6, looking at my place value chart, 3 digits after the decimal is the thousandths. 1 and 6 thousandths. Again, remember the relationship between the zeros and the digits. 2 digits, 2 zeros. 1 digit, 1 zero. 3 digits, 3 zeros. Read it, write it, simplify it. Now it's time to show what you know. This is your fraction. You go back and follow your rules and convert it to a decimal and a percent. Here's your decimal. Fill in the other 2 boxes. Complete this chart and come back to see how you did. All right, let's see how you did. 7 hundredths. Turn a fraction to a decimal. Tip me over and divide me out. Or remember one of the rules. Hundredths means use the place value chart. So I could write a decimal by putting a 7 in the hundredths place. So my decimal would be 7 hundredths. Decimal to the percent means to the right, to the right, to the right, to the right, 7%. Decimal to fraction, read it, write it, simplify it. 3 tenths. 3 tenths. Decimal to percent, to the right, to the right. 30%. 10%. Percent to decimal, to the left, to the left. 0.10 or 0.1. write it, simplify it. If I read this, it's 10 hundredths. 10 hundredths simplifies to 1/10. 3/6. I don't know a rule for 6. I could simplify it to 1/2, or I could divide it, and my decimal is 0.5. To the right, 50%. Percent to decimal, to the left, 19 thousandths. 3 digits in the decimal, 3 zeros in the fraction. 8 thousandths. 8 thousandths simplified to 125. And then to the right, 0.8%. To the right, to the left. Oh, that reminds you of a song? Come to class tomorrow and see what song we might sing there.